a cultural exchange program between the Ministry of Culture of India and the Ministry of Culture of Denmark, a memorandum of understanding between the Indian Ministry of Skills Development and Entrepreneurship and the Danish Ministry of Children and Education on cooperation in the field of skill development, vocational education and entrepreneurship. A declaration of intent on migration and mobility between the government of the Republic of India and the government of Denmark. A letter of intent between Invest in India and the Technical University of Denmark on startups ecosystems. And if I can ask the ambassadors to exchange the agreements.
For you.
You can leave. The ambassador stays. You can leave. Thank you. And now I would like to turn to a number of agreements that have been signed between the commercial sector. We have the first one is a memorandum of understanding that will be exchanged between the CEO of Haldor Topsoe, Mr. Roland Barn, welcome, and Projects and Development India Limited, and they will be represented today by Her Excellency the Ambassador of India. Please. Thank you. The second agreement will be exchanged between the CEO of Cement FL Schmidt, Carsten Riisbjerg Lund, and the Managing Director and CEO of Dalmatia Cement, Mahendra Singhi. Please. The memorandum of understanding between Dalmia and FL Schmidt focuses on the next generation of cement technology towards building a sustainable future. The goal is to enable carbon neutral cement production by 2030, focusing on both energy and process emission. Please. Thank you. The third agreement is exchanged between the Executive Vice President at Larsen & Toubro, Sabadit Depp, and the Director of DI Water, Mads Helleberg Dorf. If I can ask you to come up here. This memorandum of understanding is the first step towards a long-term partnership focused on positively impacts the business environment and the sustainability agenda within the water sector in India. Mr. Depp, you stay here. Mr. Depp is very busy today, so he will remain. For the last and fourth agreement, which is exchanged between the Executive Vice President of Larsen & Toubro, Mr. Depp, and the Director of AVK, Niels O. Kjær. And the purpose of this agreement is to strengthen the partnership between Larsen & Toubro and AVK for projects and opportunities specifically within the water and wastewater segments in India and also globally. Thank you very much. That ends the ceremony on agreements. And if I could ask the Prime Minister of Denmark, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. And first of all, once again, a very warm welcome to Denmark. His Excellency Prime Minister Modi and I had a very productive meeting today. The relations between our two countries are very strong. Prime Minister, I deeply appreciate this important meeting. We are moving fast in transforming our green strategic partnership into some concrete results. The Indian government has high ambitions for green transition and for making India more independent on fossil fuels. I am very proud that Danish solutions play a key role in realizing these important ambitions. Today, we have agreed on a number of concrete steps on green energy, clean water, and to counter the next global health crisis, just to mention a few examples. Hopefully, the two of us can lead by example by showing that green growth and green transition can go hand in hand. And I am convinced that India and Denmark has a huge untapped potential for trade and investment. We share many values. We are two democratic nations. We both believe in a rule-based international system. And in times as these, we need to build an even stronger bridge between us. As close partners, we, of course, also discussed the war in Ukraine. We discussed the consequences on the horrible crimes committed against civilians and the serious humanitarian crisis in Ukraine. The reports on killings of civilians in Bucha are deeply shocking. We have condemned these killings, and we stressed the need for an independent investigation. Denmark and the entire European Union strongly condemn Russia's unlawful and unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. My message is very clear. Putin has got to stop this war and to end the killings. I, of course, hope that India will influence Russia also in this discussion. I now look forward to continuing the discussions between the two of us tomorrow, also with our Nordic colleagues at the Indo-Nordic Summit 2022. And just to finalize, we have a very strong partnership between our two countries, and we are very grateful that you are in Copenhagen this day. Welcome.
Thank you.
Your Excellency,
Prime Minister Denmark, delegation के सदस्यों, मीडिया के मित्रों, गुड इवनिंग एंड नमस्कार। एक्सेलेंसी, प्राइम मिनिस्टर मेरे और मेरे डेलीगेशन के डेनमार्क में शानदार स्वागत और मेजबानी के लिए आपको और आपकी टीम को हार्दिक धन्यवाद। आपके खूबसूरत देश में यह मेरी पहली यात्रा है। पिछले वर्ष अक्टूबर में मुझे आपका भारत में स्वागत करने का अवसर प्राप्त हुआ। इन दोनों यात्राओं से हम अपने संबंधों में निकटता ला पाए हैं और उन्हें गतिशील बना पाए हैं। हमारे दोनों देश लोकतंत्र, अभिव्यक्ति की स्वतंत्रता और कानून के शासन जैसे मूल्यों को तो साझा करते ही हैं, साथ में हम दोनों की कई कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री स्ट्रेंथ भी है। फ्रेंड्स, अक्टूबर 2020 में इंडिया डेनमार्क वर्चुअल समिट के दौरान हमने अपने संबंधों को ग्रीन स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप का दर्जा दिया था। हमारी आज की चर्चा के दौरान हमने अपने ग्रीन स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप के ज्वाइंट वर्क प्लान की समीक्षा की। मुझे खुशी है कि विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में, विशेष रूप से रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, स्वास्थ्य, पोर्ट्स, शिपिंग, सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी तथा वाटर मैनेजमेंट के क्षेत्रों में महत्वपूर्ण प्रगति हुई है। 200 से अधिक डेनिश कंपनियां भारत में विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में काम कर रही हैं, जैसे पवन ऊर्जा, शिपिंग, कंसल्टेंसी, फूड प्रोसेसिंग, इंजीनियरिंग, ऐसे कई क्षेत्र हैं। इन्हें भारत में बढ़ते ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस और हमारे व्यापक आर्थिक रिफॉर्म्स का लाभ मिल रहा है। भारत के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सेक्टर और ग्रीन इंडस्ट्रीज में डेनिश कंपनीज और डेनिश पेंशन फंड्स के लिए निवेश के लिए बहुत अवसर है। आज हमने भारत ईयू रिश्तों, इंडो पैसिफिक और यूक्रेन सहित कई क्षेत्रीय तथा वैश्विक मुद्दों पर भी बातचीत की। हम आशा करते हैं कि इंडिया ईयू फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट, उस पर नेगोशिएशंस यथाशीघ्र संपन्न होंगे। हमने एक फ्री, ओपन, इंक्लूसिव और रूल बेस्ड इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्रों को सुनिश्चित करने पर जोर दिया। हमने यूक्रेन में तत्काल युद्ध विराम और समस्या के समाधान के लिए बातचीत और कूटनीति का रास्ता अपनाने की अपील की। हमने क्लाइमेट के क्षेत्र में अपने सहयोग पर भी चर्चा की। भारत ग्लासगो COP26 में लिए गए संकल्पों को पूरा करने के लिए भी प्रतिबद्ध है। हम आर्किटेक्ट क्षेत्र में सहयोग के अधिक अवसर तलाशने पर सहमत हुए हैं। एक्सेलेंसी, मुझे विश्वास है कि आपके नेतृत्व में भारत और डेनमार्क के संबंध नई ऊंचाई प्राप्त करेंगे। मैं कल होने वाली सेकंड इंडिया नॉर्डिक समिट की मेजबानी करने के लिए भी आपका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं और आज भारतीय डायस्पोरा के कार्यक्रम में शामिल होने के लिए भी मैं, क्योंकि आपने वहां आने के लिए समय निकाला, भारतीय समुदाय के प्रति आपका कितना प्यार है इसका ये प्रतीक है और इसके लिए मैं आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं। थैंक यू। Okay.
You have been listening to the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi alongside his Danish counterpart Mette Frederiksen in Copenhagen. A busy day of meetings for Narendra Modi, and it's a busy week for him as well. A three-stop European tour. He arrived in Copenhagen after first having visited Berlin, and as I say, has been holding those talks with Danish counterpart Mette Frederiksen in Copenhagen. There is a lot more on the agenda besides multiple bilateral and multilateral engagements, an India-Denmark business roundtable, interactions with the Indian community, a meeting with the Queen of Denmark, and the second edition of the India-Nordic Summit coming up as well. That summit will focus on economic engagement, green partnerships and mobility and cooperation in the Arctic region. So there is lots going on for Narendra Modi, as I say, speaking there alongside his Danish counterpart, and more to come throughout the day and later in the week as well, with Narendra Modi due to visit France as part of the trip as well. We can go now to our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, who is in Copenhagen for us. Siddhant, what did you take out of that press appearance there?
Well, yes, if you look at that press statement that was being addressed by both the leaders, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Denmark Prime Minister, Ukraine is something that stood out. Essentially, it was natural that both the leaders will be mentioning about the crisis, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The Denmark Prime Minister obviously strongly condemned it. We know the stance of Denmark, while the Indian Prime Minister reiterated the call for cessation of hostilities between the Russian side and the Ukrainian side. But largely, if you look at the key outcomes of the entire meeting that happened here in Copenhagen between the Indian Prime Minister and the Denmark Prime Minister was on green strategic partnership. The Indian Prime Minister talked about a work plan being decided upon, and we know that Denmark has been playing an important role when it comes to green technology and clean technology. Green technology is something that India will be keen that it gets from Denmark, as the Prime Minister has been saying that India has the scale and Denmark has the scale, and that can help both the countries. But of course, a key component is the diaspora as well. The diaspora has come in full force when it comes to welcoming the Indian Prime Minister, and there you have it. If a camera person can show you some of those Indians waiting to welcome the Indian Prime Minister, where I am standing. I'm standing near the place where the Indian Prime Minister is just shortly going to arrive, and the diaspora with the Indian flag waiting to welcome the Indian Prime Minister. So whether it's the bilateral component, the talks which have been just concluded, or the diaspora component, both are very strong, as it was in Berlin yesterday. But one thing that will stand out in Copenhagen, that is going to happen tomorrow, is the India-Nordic Summit, the meeting between the 5 Nordic countries, the Prime Ministers of the 5 Nordic countries and the Indian Prime Minister. And basically that provides a platform for the 5 Nordic countries and India to discuss clean energy, innovation, climate change, and how they can cooperate in the Arctic.
Okay, Siddhant, thank you. That is Siddhant Sibal reporting live from Copenhagen.